anyone who has ever wanted kids, they always wonder, will it be a boy? What about a girl? Blonde hair, green eyes, maybe brown. I wonder what I'll inherit. Would I, like me? What about my dad? Ugh, there's always Grandpa. Well, those questions are normal, and it's a very exciting time for people. But sometimes that's not always the case. Some families will take their children to genetic engineers before they're even born and create them how they want them. Gender, how they'll look, how they'll act, certain traits they'll get. And, well, that's what they do. I'm a parent too, and I'm partial to how I would like my children to look and see and act. But that doesn't always mean that's how it's going to happen. There are tons of reasons people go to a genetic engineer for their babies, to make the babies, to take away like a gene for cancer, or however they would like it. But that doesn't always make it right, whether for good intentions or just their plain vanity. In this speech, I'm going to persuade you to try and get rid of genetic engineering when it comes to making babies. I'm going to tell you the problems that surround it. I'd like to propose a plan of action, and I'd like to paint a picture for you, because sometimes it's not always to see these things through. It's not always easy to see these things through. Now, genetic engineering is exactly what it sounds like. You take the DNA of something and you alter it to make it better. Now, you can take it and you can take away the gene for cancer. You can make them tall, make them skinny, make them fat, curly headed. You can just change their eye color if you want to. But what people don't realize is after you've already genetically altered that one child, that they will eventually grow up and have babies. And when they do grow up and have babies, their children and descendants are at a higher risk for cancer. They have prolonged, debilitating diseases in their old age. And a very scary similarity to this is Adolf Hitler. He declared that the perfect match was blonde hair and blue eyes, and proceeded to kill anybody who didn't fit the mold. Now, I ask you, what is the real difference between Adolf Hitler killing people for how they look, rather than somebody going to a genetic engineer and creating a person on what they want? They don't even have a choice in the matter. And it's a very important issue because it takes out the essence of everything that is natural and human nature. Now, I propose to you that we ban it. Other countries in the United Nations have already banned genetic engineering when it comes to making children. Now, when I say this, genetic engineering is not a completely bad thing. They genetic engineer plants to fight pollution, faster growing trees, and it makes some animals like pigs and cows more eco-friendly without as much methane and the pollution, because they make it too. So it's not always a bad thing, but when it comes to cloning humans and making humans how you want them to be, that's not right. You don't get to make a person in your image. Right now it is hard to do because the process costs about $150,000, but it is still an option. That is an option that's not very nice, not very good. So I propose what we do is we inform people about what it is, how it is, and show them the realities of it, and get it put on ballots and vote for it. That's how we do things in this country. We vote. And I think everybody should have an opinion and a voice on this subject. Now, I know it doesn't seem like it should be quite a big deal, but it really is. Let me paint a picture for you. A couple of years ago, there was a movie that came out called My Sister's Keeper. In this movie, you find a little girl that is seeking emancipation from her parents to have control over her body. Now, later on in this movie, you find out that her parents genetically engineered her for spare parts for her sister who was fighting cancer. Now, ultimately, that takes away her control over her body and her childhood. What would you do if that was your child? Would you sacrifice the childhood of one for the life of another? Would you put that much responsibility on a newborn baby who doesn't even know how to walk, crawl, or talk? Can't say no for themselves? On paper, the pros may seem to outweigh the cons, but in reality, it's very different. Paper and reality are two different things. So, I propose to you, inform your friends, get it put on ballots around your community and society, and vote to get it gone. Ban it. Make it illegal, because it's not right to choose what other people do and how they are. Now, getting pregnant, going through the pregnancy, and not knowing what to expect when that baby comes out, how they act, is part of beauty. The biggest part of beauty in human life. Because it is the beginning. So why would we change that? Just because we should, just because we can, doesn't always mean that we should. So I urge you, get it banned, because it does take away some of the most beautiful things that we have left in this world. I'd like to quote this person. They said, "This isn't a fight about saving whales or the last rainforest or even the health of people living today. The question is whether we can save ourselves from ourselves. To know and respect what we do not know, and to put the brakes on potentially dangerous forms of human genetic engineering."